Hello, my friends, and welcome to Youth Potential, a channel dedicated to helping young people with mental health problems. I have two books available, 102 Distraction Techniques and Self-Harm to Self-Harmony. Both of these books are only available on Amazon. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hello, my friend, Scott here representing Youth Potential. Now today I'm doing a video on my own personal triggers. Thank you very much for voting on this video. It was quite close between this one and hearing voices and dissociation, so I've decided I'm going to do what hearing voices is like as well once I've done this video, and I may even do the dissociation video. But anyway, let's get on with this. So before I give you my list of triggers, I just want to give you the dictionary definition of triggers, and this is obviously in context to mental health. Distress, typically as a result of arousing feelings or memories associated with a particular traumatic experience. Okay, so that's what a trigger is. I just want you to bear in mind that these triggers, and I'm sure you guys are exactly the same, triggers, they don't always trigger you under every single circumstance. I mean, there are going to be ones that do, absolutely, but as I go through these triggers, I just want you to remember that some of them will trigger me a lot of the time, some of them will trigger me sometimes. It's kind of in relation to how I'm feeling in that particular moment when I have my memory or a feeling jogged, whether it's going to send me into panic, whether it's going to send me into feeling depressed, whether it's going to make me angry, whether it's going to make me stressed. It's all circumstantial, but I've written this list because these are the things that have triggered me into sort of a negative feeling on either quite a few times or on at least several occasions. But looking through the list right now, they've probably triggered me multiple times, and God knows how many times. But anyway, let's go through this list. So, arguments amongst parents. I think that stems to the fact that before my mum and dad split up and got divorced, I used to see and hear them arguing from time to time, and there's a particular experience which really kind of I'll never forget, and yeah, that's why it's a trigger for me. Arguments amongst children, mostly like teenage years or a bit older, and their parents. Again, that's my personal experience. Criticism is a trigger. I know it's impossible to avoid criticism throughout life, but honestly, there's a lot of criticism. If it's constructive, that's fine, but if it's just completely just attacking me or just not making me feel good about something, especially when I've put like my heart and soul into it, criticism is really hard to deal with, and doing this on social media makes it really difficult. I think a lot of the comments on my overdose video, I just have to completely switch off and just try and glaze over them because there is plenty of criticism there. Fortunately, most criticism that I've received in life is actually over the internet, and even then it's not too bad. So it's kind of okay, I can deal with it, but then sometimes it just really hits a spot and it just, makes me either angry at myself or angry at the world. Anyway, let's continue. When plans, agreements or goals fail. Now I know no matter what you plan, things can go wrong, but honestly, I hate it when me and people organise something or something's organised on my behalf and then at the last minute it gets cancelled or it goes wrong or it doesn't happen. Disappointment, I really don't deal well with it. So if you're to tell me you're going to do something, it needs to be fulfilled. And if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to make sure that's fulfilled. It works both ways. I just don't get when you plan things and then all of a sudden excuses are made and then these things don't happen. So, no, I just don't deal with it very well. Anyway, let's continue. We need to talk. Yes, the worst sentence I can ever hear, in my opinion. Being abandoned or ignored. Images of self-harm, and this is without warning, so kind of like, I don't know, scrolling through Instagram or social media or in a movie and it just comes, there's no trigger warning. That can really throw me off. My children being upset. I hate seeing my kids upset, and I think any parents out there watching this, you can totally agree with that. It's a horrible feeling, especially when you don't feel like you can do anything. Anyway, when I can't solve a problem, I like to believe that I have a pretty good brain when it comes to problem solving, and when I can't solve a problem, it really stresses me out. Sensory overloads, especially noise. Loads of people trying to talk at me at one time, loads of noises going off at one time, loads of movement around me. If I'm in a place where there's lots and lots of people and I feel like everyone's bumping into me and it's noisy and I see all this movement, that really does my head in. Ironically, when I go to a gig though, that never happens. It's just awesome. So, yeah. Being stared at. I don't think I really get stared at that often, but sometimes when I'm feeling paranoid or anxious, it feels like loads of people are staring at me. When I walk near gangs of teens, now, it doesn't happen so much nowadays, but it used to happen a lot when I was a teenager, especially during my emo years. I'd walk down the street and then I'd just get like verbal abuse hurled at me, or someone would barge into me, and you get all these like tracksuit wearing teens that have just got nothing better to do than to pick on the individual when they're in their gangs. Being shouted at. I don't think anyone likes being shouted at, but it really does stress me out. Psychiatric environments. So, being on a psychiatric ward, I mean, it's not triggering 24/7, obviously, because I would just always be triggered, but a lot of the time, other people being in there, like other patients, like noises, just constant reminder that you're unwell, even being in like therapy sessions or like especially group ones, as much as they're going to have a positive long-term effect, hopefully, then and there, it does put you on edge. My partner having a psychotic episode, having no money, although sometimes I've got no choice in the matter, so I just have to deal with it. When I'm not happy with my looks, I mean, I'm quite lucky. I had a nice haircut yesterday, so it's not too bad. But believe it or not, I get quite insecure about my looks. I feel like I always have to dress my best, unless I'm getting up at like 5 o'clock in the morning for work. I can be really fussy with my hair and my outfits and stuff. And if I don't feel happy with my looks, I really feel disgusting. Arguing or violence between others. So as much as I hate getting involved in arguments, seeing other people argue or acting violent towards each other, bullying, anything like that, it just, I can't stand it. And unfortunately, the internet is a great place for people to argue. It's just pathetic, but hey-ho, if you can't be diplomatic, then I don't want to know. I'm just going to walk away. When I let people down, as I said before, I hate it when people let me down and disappoint me, and I just try and go out my absolute way to not let people down. I am a bit of a pleaser, because I believe that, if I tell someone I'm going to do something, I should be doing it. There's no excuse why, unless something really serious happens, but 99% of the time that's not going to happen. So if I let people down, I really beat myself up about it. And the last one that I can remember, seeing any child under stress or being seriously ill. I know that may sound stupid, but if I see, especially young children, and they're like got a long-term illness, or like they're in a wheelchair, or they've got clearly something wrong with them, or they're looking really stressed, like a lost child, which I've seen before. It really upsets me. I think it's because 2 reasons. One being that I've got my own children, and I get upset when I can't do anything to make them better. And when I was really younger, not my youngest brother, but the eldest of my youngest siblings, my brother, he when he was younger, he used to be in and out of hospital, and I remember going up to Great Ormond Street once with my mum and him, and there were obviously loads of terminally ill children there, and I just remember I was only like 9-10 years old, and even I found that overwhelmingly emotional. And just ever since, like, children can be so innocent, and they just, it really upsets me. And That's another reason why I do this whole mental health thing, is because there are so many young people out there that are struggling, don't know who to turn to, don't feel like they can talk to their parents and that, and I just try and create this content because I just want them all to be as happy as they can, or at least be understood, have someone to turn to, you know. Yeah. You know, children are the future, so we've got to try and protect their innocence as much as possible and help guide them along the way into, you know, growing up into adulthood, knowing that, you know, they've got a mind of their own, they can be who they want to be, and yeah, that there is help available. Anyway, that's a list of my triggers. They're kind of like the main ones that probably affect me from time to time quite regularly. Yeah, there's probably other tiny little things that piss me off, but they're the main ones that just I think of, or that I see day in, day out, that I have to try and put my guard up against. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. If any of my triggers the same for you, please leave a comment below. If you want to give me a list of your triggers or just anything particular, comments below. I love reading your comments. You know, sometimes they are really upsetting to read, but it's just great that you guys share your experiences, and I'm impressed with the fact that you've got the strength to do that. So that's why I love reading them. Anyway, take care, guys. Bye.